It is in fact true that I am the only PhD scientist in all of the House of Representatives and all of the Senate, which is, I don't clap. It's the way, it's the way it is. And, that's actually very important right now because of everything that's going on with the Iranian nuclear deal. I'm spending about half of my time at this point just going through the nuts and bolts of the Iranian nuclear deal, which is, this is one of these important votes that will really define your career, the same way the Affordable Care Act vote, or you name it, the war vote into going to Iraq or not. This is going to be an important one, and I think this one is one where it's just not obvious. It's obvious to the Republicans, of course, who are all dead set against it because the president is for it, and that's the extent of their sophistication on that issue. But there are a lot of complicated issues there, and so I'll be announcing my decision probably in the next week and a half or so. And so that is that's one of the serious things. There's a lot of enjoyable stuff going on. Watching the Republican primary has got to be the most enjoyable thing. But I have to say that I am impressed, very impressed, at how quickly the Republicans have identified their strongest candidate.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God.
Anyway, so we just have to listen politely and nod and just let it all play out. And now, in terms of Illinois and politics, probably the most important single thing we have to get done statewide is to get rid of Mark Kirk.
Yes,
I think, probably a lot of you know that I looked very hard at the Senate race and ended up supporting Tammy Duckworth. I'm actually the co-chair of our Finance Committee. And she is going to be a great candidate, and we have to make sure that she wins. And to win statewide, what you have to do is you have to run up the score in Cook County, and you have to hold things even in the rest of the state. And that's what our goal has to be out at this radius. And so, all you guys that'll be, guys and gals that'll be out there knocking doors, this is really, really important. There's nothing more important for the Democrats nationally than to take back the Senate. And if you look at the list of targeted races, number one on those is in Illinois. There is no reason at all for Illinois to be represented by a Republican, and it's the job of everyone here to fix that. If you talk about, back to policy, what's happening in Congress, I think we're heading for a whole pile of Republican train wrecks, frankly, in the upcoming fall. We're probably heading for a government shutdown, or at least an almost shutdown, for all of the usual reasons. The Republicans actually started out doing a pretty respectable job of the appropriations bills. These are just the bills to fund every section of Congress, and so every section of our government. And they got about partway through, maybe halfway through in the House, and then all of a sudden they shut down the whole thing. And the reason they shut down the whole thing is that it turns out there were these Southern Republican congressmen that were on appropriation bills. Any member can attach pretty much anything as an amendment to it, and you get a vote. And so these Southern Republicans were coming up and attaching pro-Confederate flag amendments. And so this just the first time this happened, Boehner shut down all appropriations bills, and we haven't done anything yet. And so this tells you how functional government we have under the Republicans. It just, that is deeply wrong in many ways, and it's. We're also facing a debt ceiling vote coming up. This is what caused the rating downgrade. If you remember a few years back, if you look at the economic recovery, it pretty much started in March of 2009, right after we passed the stimulus, and it's been pretty much going since then. But there have been two major hiccups in it. The first hiccup was the Eurozone crisis that happened in 2010 to 2011, and that's something that probably cost a lot of Democrats, including maybe me, our seat, because that put our economy back. The second one was self-inflicted. In 2011, we had the Tea Party default crisis, where a bunch of newly elected members of Congress thought it was okay if we did not pay our bills as a country. And as a result, the U.S. had its rating downgraded. The stock market lost trillions of dollars, and actually the average American lost $10,000 as a result of that self-inflicted wound. And that's deeply not okay, but it looks like there's a large number of Republicans who campaign on a platform that they are never ever going to vote to raise the debt limit, including, unfortunately, your representative here in the 14th. So if you need a single thing to mention about it, have a look at how he votes on the debt limit. Have a look at how he votes on all of the damage that will do our economy, and ask the person on whose door you just knocked if he appreciates the fact that on average, the average American lost $10,000 the last time they pulled that nonsense, because it looks like they're threatening to do it again. And there's a big set of things having to do with the failure to pass a highway bill, a long-term highway bill. You know, if there's anything that Americans agree on, it's that the roads stink and they have to put some more money on it. And you know, it's not a mystery why the roads stink. It's because the roads are funded by a gas tax that's not been adjusted for inflation since 1973, and it's because every member of the Republican Party has taken this pledge to Grover Norquist that they are not going to raise taxes on anyone, even billionaires, by 1 penny. And this is the reason we have the infrastructure deficit in our country. And all they do is they just kick the can downstream. I think the latest thing, right before we took off for the summer, they passed a 3-month extension that times out right at the end of September. And so we're heading for a shutdown not only of government but of all road construction, which is just bad government. Anyway, it's not going to be a pretty fall, but we have to make sure, every one of us, that the people in this country understand who's causing it and what to do about it, which is to elect fewer Republicans. Anyway.
Amen.
So anyway, I just wanted to thank you all. It seems like the turnout gets better here every single year that I've been coming here. And so it's encouraging, because you know the whole this whole area is thought of as being very, very Republican, but it is turning more and more Democratic year by year by year. And so it's going to happen. And so that's it. I just want to thank, first off, everyone has to thank here the heart and soul of this organization out here, Mark Gately. I also want to point out my campaign manager, Ben Huntley, over there with the shades. Okay, and so at some point you're going to get contacted, to maybe come out and pass a few petitions or knock on a few doors for us, and maybe a few of you might be persuaded to do that. But there are a lot of fights that you're going to have to fight in the 14th, and good candidates you have to support. So, thank you all for coming out, and enjoy the sunshine.
Thank you.